Your comfort zone is your enemy. One of the biggest ironies I can think of is when you live life trying to stay comfortable, life will send you more and more discomfort. It's true. Life will send you more and more problems. Life will keep throwing rocks at you. Life will keep handing you resistance, struggles, issues. And because people are so concerned about staying comfortable instead of growing and reaching higher, because people don't want to address their limitations and move beyond them, they keep struggling. Listen, you are not here on this planet to sip apple martinis on the beach and get yourself a tan. You are here to grow. And if you make yourself uncomfortable, life will give you plenty of reasons to push you out your comfort zone. So you have one of two options. Either you commit to constant growth and feeling discomfort upon your own accord, and you become the master of your own destiny, or you hand over the keys and you let life happen to you by default. One path leads to success, and the other path leads you to constant struggle and pain. It's your choice. You think Steve Jobs started Apple feeling comfortable about it? You think top athletes sleep their way to high performance? You think Oscar-winning actors procrastinate their way to achievement? No! So then why are you giving into wasting time with Netflix marathons, into chronic procrastination? Why are you running to the bar the moment your best friend texts you to come out? Got to be willing to make the hard decision. You've got to be willing to feel uncomfortable, to feel awkward, to face rejection, to fail, to feel pressure. You've got to be willing to face those things because that's what's necessary for you to grow. How many times have you looked at your life and said, man, if only I knew then what I know now, I live my life so differently, so is it not possible then that the life you are living now, you would be living differently if you began to develop an awareness that you do not currently have? Well, guess what? The only way for you to develop knowledge and awareness is to try things you have not yet tried, to do things you have not yet done, to create things you have not yet created, to go to places you have not yet explored. This is how you grow. That is how you become the person who is worthy of sitting on the beach with their favorite drink. Life rewards you with those experiences after you do the work. There is a real price to success, and life collects the payments. And let me tell you something, life does not accept payment plans. Life does not let you get away with experiencing things that you have not yet earned. Your sacrifice must be paid up front and in full, and that is the only way you are going to achieve the life that you want. So I strongly suggest that you begin to pay with your discomfort. I strongly suggest that you start making those calls, that you start approaching that person, that you start practicing kindness and compassion over jealousy and greed, that you confront your anxiety, that you hit the gym, that you study harder, that you jump higher, that you begin waking up early, even if you're not a morning person, that you destroy your procrastination, that you start doing the things that you know within your heart that you should have started doing a long time ago, so you can start to build the experiences and the knowledge that you need to succeed. That is what I suggest to you. And don't listen to this as a voice on a video over some music. Listen to this as a direct sign, a direct message that life is giving to you to wake you up, to help you acknowledge your own greatness. It's time for you to get uncomfortable. It's time for you to start dreaming again and start going after what was always yours, but what you've ignored for far too long. And I promise, when you put yourself in a discomfort, your friends will take notice, your colleagues will take notice, your family will take notice, life will take notice, and life will begin to back you up. Life will begin to support you and open doors for you and introduce you to the people who will take you to the next level, but you have got to take the first step. So take it and watch your life explode into greatness. Watch new levels of the game unfold for you. Watch you develop into the person who you've always wanted to become. It's all waiting for you outside of your comfort zone. Go for it.
Somebody come online and said he is in need of a serious relationship.
Oh, which one?
The contact game said, "Hello, my name is I'm Prosper. I need a serious relationship. Somebody should."
Very success rate.
I made it not because I had no obstacles, not because I suffered no setbacks, not because everything went right. I made it despite the obstacles, despite the huge challenges. I made it because I got fight.
made it. Not because I stepped on others to get there. I made it because I helped others. Because I know the truth that lies in the statement. Helping the people get what they want, and the world will give you what you want. Add value, get rewarded. I made it because the fires inside of me were stronger than the storms outside of me. I made it because my appetite to learn and grow every day. I'm not content with okay living. I'm not content with expectations of others. I've got my own expectations. I've got my own standards. I'm not okay with average. I'll leave that crap to someone else. I expect more out of life. I deserve more, and I will get more. I made it because I made no excuses. If something goes wrong, it's all on me. All on me to find a solution. All on me to find a way to win, regardless of the circumstances.
Yeah, you see what they are saying.
I made it. You did. You made excuses. I did. I grew. You didn't.
Reduce your voice.
Sacrificed. You
It's
did.
reflecting on my
You
voice.
made excuses. I didn't. I didn't quit because you said I couldn't make it. I made it because you said I couldn't. I used your negativity as fuel. I made it despite you. I didn't get lucky. I made my own luck. Only the successful will understand that. The weak believe in luck. The successful believe in whatever it effing takes. I didn't make it because I had the magic pill. I made it because I was willing to kill. Because I got real. Real with myself. Real with responsibility. Real with belief. Real with work. Hard work. Not talking, but doing. Not lip service, but real purpose. Hard working, always working, never resting, never settling, never stopping. There's not one reason, there's many. I can tell you the secret, it's simply called hard work. I made it. You didn't. You made excuses. I didn't. I grew. You didn't. I sacrificed. You didn't. You made excuses. I didn't.
Because I don't move the right way.
It's not easy going it alone. But if you keep going, stay true to yourself, it will be worth it in the end. The hardest walk you can make is the walk you make alone. But that is the walk that makes you the strongest. That is the walk that builds your character the most. To all of you fighting battles alone, to all of you going against the grain,
Yes, so I'm
battling
going
the
here.
naysayers, stay strong. Keep going. Stay strong. Keep going. This walk is hard, but the hardest walks lead to the greatest destinations. The toughest climbs always lead to the best views. It will be worth it in the end. And if you show what you are made of, the right people will show up in your life. You won't be alone forever. You have qualities only few can admire because most don't possess. You have strength only few can understand because most have never experienced. So don't give in. Don't settle. Don't lower your expectations to fit into the world. You were born to stand out. You were born to lead. Lead the pack. They say the wolf on the hill is never as hungry as the wolf climbing the hill. All climbing the hill, always hungry for more, always hungry to grow, to feed your mind and rise to the highest level you can take yourself. Never looking back, always looking forward to the next feast of success in whatever you do. It does not matter if you have to walk alone for a while. It is much better to walk alone in the right direction than to follow the herd walking in the wrong direction. Stay strong. Be different. Your destiny is in your hands. Out there and hunt it. I've learned that nothing good comes without work and a certain amount of pain. Pain is the feeling of weakness leaving your body. There is no better way to fight weakness than with strength. I used to fight the pain, but the pain is not my enemy. It is my calling to greatness. It all comes down to how bad you want it. How hard are you willing to work to achieve what it is you want? You must work on yourself. Model the greats. Commit to something every single day that puts you in a positive state of mind. Don't waste time with meaningless things. You deserve greatness, and if you work for it, you will get it. I demand success. Success and nothing less. I will achieve success. I will never settle for anything less. I will work harder than the rest. I will challenge the best. I will fight through any of life's tests. It's easy to give up when times are hard. It's easy to settle for an average life. It's easy to just go with the flow and do what's comfortable. Those who do what's easy are never remembered. It's supposed to be hard. If it were easy, everyone would do it. Keep your mouth shut and work. Let your success make the noise. There are no excuses. There are no shortcuts. There are only sacrifices that need to be made. It doesn't matter who's doubting, hating, or hoping you fail. Just keep working, believing, and pursuing what you want the most. I am not blessed because everything went right. I'm blessed because I got fight. When challenges come up, I don't say why me. When tough times arrive, I never think, why did this happen to me? I say, how can I use this? I say, what can I gain from this? How can I ensure that I improve my life so this doesn't happen again? That's my blessing. Not what I've got to work with, but how I work with what I got. Not that I was handed my dreams, but that I had enough fight in me, that I had enough belief in me to
matter where you are in life, if you don't feel blessed, you won't be blessed. You gotta appreciate what you have inside you before you can see the gifts outside of you. You gotta know your worth before you can be worth anything. You gotta know you're great before anyone else will see the greatness within you. You gotta feel blessed before you will be blessed. Today could be the day. Are you ready to commit? Are you ready for greatness? Life can be brutal. Life can be unforgiving. If I had to sum up in one word the difference between the greats and the average, the difference between the successful and the nobodies of the world, one word, one attribute to describe the difference is if you don't have the discipline. You can forget about the trophy. You can forget about the success, the greatness. All champions have discipline. It's the discipline to work hard. You know, not when everyone is watching, but when no one is watching. When the fans aren't there, when the coach isn't there, when it's just you and your character. The discipline to eat strong, healthy foods when you have other tempting options. When those around you might not be so strong. The discipline to say no when those around you choose to be average. The discipline to keep going when it hurts. Because life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you deserve. And if you haven't worked for it, if you haven't sacrificed for it, if you haven't given your all, then you don't deserve it. And you won't get it. Push through the pain. On the other side is growth. When pain comes, that means it's time to show character. Show me your character. Remain disciplined. Stay strong. When it all seems hopeless, keep plugging away. Nothing can stop you if you don't stop for anything. Don't stop for anything. Never break your discipline. Remain faithful to yourself and your vision. When it gets painful, push harder. Push through the pain. You gotta have the discipline to do 11 when your opponent stops at 10. The discipline to keep going when it hurts. Because life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you deserve. And if you haven't worked for it, if you haven't sacrificed for it, if you haven't given your all, then you don't deserve it. And you won't.
Okay. All right. I could see that more people have decided to go and hide on Facebook and on the YouTube to see this program. So right about now, we can't wait anymore. I want to thank you all for patiently wait here to be part of this event. And also, I want to say a very big thank you to our guest speaker today. He was personally on this call before myself. Like I always say, he is one person I respect so much, and God has made it possible for us to meet again today and to share some beautiful knowledge with some individual. Some will benefit directly on this platform, and others who have to learn this or will listen to this later. Whichever way it goes, we are on the known that the impact is impressive and the people are getting better every day. So it's worth all the sacrifice. Even while we are almost dying, we should gather our energy to go and do this. So it's a pleasure to have my good friend here tonight to share some knowledge with us. If you are here and you have not bring any single person to join this event, please go back to your WhatsApp, spread the message, tell your friends to join this event because the man we have today is someone I have come to respect so much. He has deep principles, deep knowledge about the subject of wealth psychology. This is what we're going to be talking about today. So briefly, before I go in fully, I just want to briefly bring the author or the guest speaker for today on board. When you have an impressive personality to share an impressive subject, then you have the best of life. And before I introduce him briefly, I'm happy to say my name is Benson Adima, a motivational speaker, author, a personal development coach, and a human resource consultant based in the city of Lagos. I was born and brought up in abject poverty to parents who are both farmers, somewhere in a remote community in a far village in Benue State. And when I got to the city of Lagos, after I finished my secondary school, I met a young lady called by name Damilola. And that young lady inspired me greatly. She became a catalyst that made me to speed up. And through her, I seek opportunity to further my education through Olabisi Onabanjo to University of Lagos. And today, the son of a farmer is now an influencer in the city of Lagos, a banker and a motivational speaker. We're doing everything to empower humanity both days and nights. And today, we have a team of young men. We do this together, the team or Success Bread team, which is metamorphosing into what we call a Success Bread network, a network that is going to skyrocket in the near future. People will watch out for them. I really love those young people. We were at the strategy section this afternoon, and it was really an impressive event. So thank you so much, the masterminds of the Benzema or of the Success Bread or Success Bread network. We celebrate you greatly and also appreciate our sponsors, Puzzle Health and Beauty. We also appreciate Folium Limited, one of our sponsors. We also appreciate Agbenda Media, one of our sponsors. We also appreciate Rodin Health, one of our sponsors. We also appreciate Making the Eagles, one of our sponsors. We also appreciate, what is the name? A Biofile Technology, one of our recent sponsor who was just added to the fold. We celebrate you so dearly. And then, Success Bread team, we have celebrated you already. Right about now, the man we have today is by name, if I don't pronounce the name very well, please forgive me, is by name Cesar Mbazrigwe, a wealth psychologist, a wealth teacher, a family wealth advocate, and a public speaker. As a wealth psychologist, he teaches and is also an inspirational speaker. He's a missionary, or he is in a mission to help parents, entrepreneurs, to create enduring wealth with ease through family and business building. He is a founder of World Academy, a World of Wealth Academy, a profound mentoring academy that allow parents and aspiring parents in business to develop the psychology of wealth and enable them to focus exactly on the life they desire for themselves and their children. And he is also an author. He is the author of the book entitled Wealth Blast, a 5 master step to creating enduring wealth from generation to generation. Mr. Chidram is also a classical music professional, and he owns a music company that provides top-notch music education to children between the ages of 3 to the ages of 5. And he is proudly a husband and a father of 3. With all excitement, I bring to you Mr. Cizaram Mbazrigwe. Come on, everybody is waiting and people are eager to hear from you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Vincent, thank you.
Welcome, sir.
It's a privilege to be here again. Great pleasure indeed. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. So, and those on Facebook can hear me, right?
Loud and clear there too.
Okay. I can see some other people here in the Zoom. I greet you all. It's my pleasure to be here. And because this happens to be something about humans, and not just any kind of humans, but Africans, our people. And that's why I had to hang on even to this time, because the time was for 4 o'clock. But I guess we're waiting for, other people to join, a good number of people to join. And I have to be patient because is something I believe even one person, the target always is for one person. If one person can say, I understand this and make a decision to go for more and practice whatever he or she has understood, I think I'm done. It is a huge success because one person is a nation. So with that one person, there will be a whole lot of transformation. For one person who says, I am going to make a change, and the change begins with me. So I am very pleased and I welcome all of you. Thank you so much, Ben, for giving me the opportunity to speak to your audience once again. This is not the first time. Okay. So how do we start?
Yes. This is a subject you are deep in. I will allow you to flow. And when I need to interject with 1 or 2 insights, why not? So that's why I didn't bother drafting any particular question for you. But to start with, what is wealth psychology?
Okay. I just want to feel the impact of those here in this Zoom, first of all. I can see Helen, Opera, Moses, Victor. Please, can you hear? Can you hear me?
Please, Moses, Victor, and Helen, if you can hear us loud and clear, can you go to the chat room and type 111? 111 in 3, 111. Thank you.
I just want to be sure
yes,
that we are together.
Just type 111. 111, let us be sure you are with us.
Okay. Okay, are they there?
I'm trying to see their comments. It's not forthcoming. Moses, Victor. Okay, it's like Victor went off. Elena Moses, if you are here with us, can we have 111 to be sure we're on the same page?
Yeah. Okay. So it seems that they are not, maybe they are off.
If you are here and you can hear us loud and clear, can you give us 111?
Okay, there are people on Facebook. Is there another
Yeah.
channel?
Yes, Facebook and YouTube.
YouTube. Okay,
Correct.
so you can get their feedback, right?
Yes.
So just let those. Okay, good. Victor is here. Victor has typed 111. God
Okay.
bless you, Victor. So Victor is here, but I don't think the other two are here. Yeah. Then if you can check those on Zoom, I mean on YouTube and Facebook, just so we know those who are here. One person is okay. For Victor's sake, I can speak. But just know, if they are hearing me now, can they also type 111?
Yes.
Good. All right. So let them type 111. I'm going to go on, but let them type 111 so that we get a feedback. Anytime it comes in, please stop me and let me know the people that have sent in.
Very well.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Fantastic. This is about us. This is for us. This is something that we really need to look into and ask ourselves critical questions that could help us move forward. And so I'm not here to, I wish I can speak my native language. Honestly, it's just that not everybody here may understand that. Because I'm not here to speak English. I wouldn't want, someone to be seeing this like, Oyibo thing or something. No. But however, I just have to speak. I just have to use, the lingo. That's so far our lingua franca. So I just have to speak in English. But otherwise, this is not about foreigners. This is us. This is about our own people. This is about our country. This is about our economy. This is about our life. This is about our joy, our happiness, our wealth, everything. Everything you can think about, good things you can think about. And I delve into this space when I realized that, first of all, I figured out personally that this is a way to go, and I practiced it and I got results, and I'm still getting results. And when I saw that this is working, I decided to be a voice, because you know how many people will sit back and complain about so many things and do nothing about those things they complain about. So that wasn't my position anymore. When I saw that, okay, this thing worked for me and it's still working, so how can I make other people see this and use it and make it work for them? So that was when I decided to lend my voice to the public to speak, and they will hear. Okay, and those who can get it may understand, may get it and use it. So wealth psychology. First of all, in wealth creation, there are two parts. We have the wealth psychology is one major part, right? Okay, Moses Adeniji said is here. Okay, great. That's on Zoom, right? Right? Okay, great.
Yes. Yeah, on Zoom.
Great.
Yeah.
Welcome, Moses. God bless you. So there are two parts of wealth creation, which we have the wealth psychology and the wealth technique. These are two major parts of wealth creation. Two parts of wealth creation. So you have wealth psychology and you have wealth techniques. So, and these two parts are very important, in as much as one has a higher percentage than the other, significantly high percentage. which is the wealth psychology. Please hold on 1 second. 1 second.
If you are here, you can hear us loud and clear. I've not got one from few of us. If you are here and you can hear us loud and clear, and you are enjoying the program, type 11 on the chat box.
Yeah, they may not enjoy the program yet because we are just starting. And I'm sure, I don't know what people do. When people hear wealth creation, I know a lot of things go in their mind. Either they think of forex trading, or they think of network marketing, or they think of something. But what I tell people is that these things are tools. And for you to use any tool, you have to be a qualified user. You have to be a qualified user to use any tool. So I ask people, if you don't know how to repair generator sets, yeah, Okile is here. Welcome. If you don't know how to repair a generator set, and even when you have all the tools, you won't do anything. So you rather spoil it the more than repair it. That's the point. So network marketing, forex, all of those things are tools. Businesses, they are tools. But the person who uses these tools is the most important thing, or the most important factor to consider. So it's not about the tools. And that's why I said there is wealth psychology and there's wealth techniques. Wealth psychology, let me not go a deep definition yet. Wealth psychology is about what happens in the mind of the owner, of the person. And the wealth technique is what happened the outside of the person physically. You know, the activities that you do to accomplish what happens in the mind. This is a very layman's explanation of this. Wealth psychology is what happens in the mind, and wealth technique is what happens outside the mind, which is physical, which is what happens, the activities you engage to accomplish what is in the mind. So the question is, which one comes first? If you look at it, there is nothing you can ever do physically without thinking about it. Let's give an example. You eating, you first of all feel hungry. If you are absolutely not hungry, you will never eat anything. So whenever you want to eat, first of all, it comes to your mind that you're hungry. Then you start looking for food. And if any opportunity of food comes, then you can eat it. You can't make a step without thinking it. Because each time, if you want to go to any place, let's say to your work, you've already thought of it. It goes to your mind first. That's you start the journey in your mind before you physically move your body to, wherever you want to go. So it's always the mind. The mind is always first. But I don't want to lose you guys, because many a time, what I've observed is that Africans, Nigerians, when you talk about the mind, many people quickly, oh man, is all this, what do you call it? Motivational speaker now, Abi? Is all these motivational speakers? Talk mind. I beg, make we talk real reality. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I wish I could hear other people talk. But this is what I hear people say. But hold on, before you say that, I want to ask, is there anything that has ever existed that was never a thought? Is there anything that has ever existed that was never a thought? If anyone can say, yes, there is something that has existed but never thought, that nobody thought of it, but it just came, then that's when I will know that this is no longer important. Look around you. Every single thing was first a thought. These gadgets we're using to speak, somebody thought about it. Oh, we can do this or that or this. And then the person started looking for how to assemble his thoughts into a physical reality. So it then means that this mental reality is actually important. And any people who neglect the mental reality will suffer in the physical reality. They will toil in the physical reality. And I quickly bring our situation to you. Whoever that is listening to me right out there, just look at the situation of Africa, the situation of Nigeria. There's so much hustle. There's so much struggle. There's so much toiling. People are laboring. There's so much, work here and there. So many people are working their life out, but they are getting little or nothing. Go out the street I'm in Lagos here, just as my brother Ben is in Lagos here. We are in Lagos. Go out the street of Lagos, you see the number is trooping everybody, going to do something, hustling, struggling, doing one thing or the other, office work, tying tie, everybody sitting down, writing this, doing this, joining traffic and here and there. But where is the economy? The economy, what we do in work is not reflected in our economy. The level of activity going on in the country is so much that when you look at the economy, you should have been expecting a very wonderful economy, but then that's not what is happening. It's rather one of the poorest economies in the world. And nobody seems to ask a question. Many people seem to be okay and be moving and still struggling. It is the simple fact that we have forgotten the psychology part of all of these activities. And everybody is focusing more on the technique part, where we are acquiring skills just to do. Whenever you are looking for skills and acquire skills, physical skills to do technique, to do things, you are just making yourself an employee. You're making yourself simply subjective. You become subject to those who decide to deploy their mental capacity. And this is what is happening in Nigeria, in Africa. So it now looks as if we're still under slavery. We have no control. We can't just help ourselves. People start businesses. They don't even believe in the businesses they start. They are looking where they can get a bigger job in something or something. So this wealth psychology is a place where you begin to think about this, whatever life you want to live, the life you desire. This is in wealth psychology is where you begin to think about this life, because we're already adults. So the word psychology is in two parts. The morphology is two. Psyche, logy. Logy means study. Logy means study. Psyche means the soul. Psyche means the soul. Okay, hold on, please, 1 second for me.
You get a lot of value. So stay with us. Don't go anywhere. It's an exciting evening. Those are some of the fundamental things that make us to struggle today that are going to be addressed tonight. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. So sorry for the break. Okay, so what I'm saying is my prayer this night or this evening is that someone will somehow understand this. I know it takes some time for me to break this down for deeper understanding. And I can prove whatsoever I'm telling you from even the biggest book that we respect, many of us respect as Christians, which is the Bible. So look at it. This is a world psychology, the two words, say logi means study. So psyche means soul, that's study of the soul. Now, psyche is a Greek word. Psyche means the soul. And then if you come to the soul, the components of the soul are three. The components of the souls are three, because in the tripartite man, you have the spirit, the soul, and the body. That's the tripartite man. The spirit, the soul, and the body. And the soul is the intermediate between the spirit and the body. So whatever that God has said in the spirit, whatever you have been given, you and I have been given in the spirit, the soul is the gate, is the gateway through which that can be passed through to the physical earth, which our bodies experience. So our bodies live on this physical earth. The earth is a physical place where everything is physical. But for that physical things to happen, it has to come from the source, from the origin, which is the spirit. And the spirit can never exist on earth. I don't know if I should say this again, because what I have noticed is that we, Nigerians, Africans, we have forgotten that the spirit can never live on earth. So everybody is becoming too spiritual while they are living on earth. So you become too spiritual, you can't function on earth anymore. You have to understand the balance where you can draw the spirit through the soul into the earth, the body, where your bodies will be an expression. So I see a lot of broke spiritual leaders and brothers and sisters here and there. Yes, broke, poor, begging, abusing the government, but they are so powerful in prayers. They are praying every day in the church, in the tabernacles, everywhere. Prayers are happening every day, night vigils and everything. These are beautiful things. Do not stop. They are okay. But the problem is a lot of people have left it at the spirit realm. So when they finish those prayers, they don't know the next thing to do to be able to draw the answer of those prayers down to the physical earth. So that's what I want to explain now. Briefly, I may not give the details. But now what I want you to see is that your soul as an intermediate between the spirit and the body has three components again. Each of them has three again. The spirit has three, which is the intuitive, the conscience, and the fellowship. Through the spirit you worship God. Now, the soul has three parts, which is the cognitive, the emotion, and the will. While the body has three parts again, the blood, the skeleton, and the flesh. Now, each of them three. So the tripartite man. Now, my concentration is on the soul. Now, the soul being the intermediate has the cognitive. The cognitive, what does it do? That's the thinking part of the soul that allows you to do calculation, estimation, and all of those things. So reasoning, that's the reasoning. That's the cognitive. It's in the soul. And you need to train the cognitive. But guess what? We've gotten a certain level of training of the cognitive through school, education, through schooling. So mathematics, all of those things we did, quantitative reasoning, all of those things we did, they were to sharpen our reasoning of looking at things, making calculation, judging this and that, and all of that. Now, okay, fantastic. Those with us here. Okay, great. Wonderful. Now, the point is, beyond, after the cognitive, what's the next? We have the emotional part of the soul. What is that? That's the feeling part, the part that feels and it does not think. This part is anything it feels, it reacts. So now the question is, where did we train this part of the soul? Nowhere, brothers and sisters. ladies and gentlemen listening right now, wherever you are, be honest with yourself. We have never received training on this part, which is the emotional part of the soul. The school process, we went, none of that, nothing from primary school, secondary school, university, address this part of the soul, which is the emotional, the feeling part. And that's why we have high level of angry people everywhere. Look at the streets everywhere. People are angry. You know, it's easy to say the economy is making people angry, but that's not it. That's not it. So economy is triggering the anger that is deep-seated. So there are symptoms. The root is down there. That's why you see people angry everywhere at home, with the children, angry with their husband, their wives, their relatives, everywhere angry with the workers. Bosses are angry with the workers. Workers are angry with the bosses. Everywhere anger. During the first scarcity, you know, anybody, hey, everybody's shouting, panicking. Hey, okay, stop. Hey, there is high level of anger. There is no training. There is no training. We've not received training. That is important. You get a training for your emotional part, the emotional part of the soul. Then the other part of the soul is called the will. The will is the decision box of the soul. So for you to make decisions, sound decision, you have to train that side. You see, nobody, nothing, school did not train this one. And that's why many a time, many of us make poor decisions that will still go back to poverty, perpetuate poverty around us, around our families, around our generations to come, because no training. And the worst is that we have observed those who never trained theirs, also we behave like them. So that's why you see a man in a marriage, in his own new marriage, he's behaving like his father because he observed his father. There's someone who spoke to me sometime, you know, telling me how the husband is beating her and she was not comfortable with it. And she now decided to report the husband to the younger sister. And when she reported the husband to the younger sister of the husband, that look at what my husband is doing to me, I don't like it. And the younger sister to the husband told this young lady, said, well, you know, we ladies, sometimes there is a way we behave that it's okay that men can correct us when they beat us small. They can correct our head. You know, women, there is a way we behave. And this lady fainted. He was shocked. Can you guys hear me? Oh.
Loud and clear.
Other people here, can you hear me? Can every other person hear me?
Maybe I'll try to unmute someone to play Matthew or Moses. Can you unmute? I'll ask you to unmute. Let us hear if you are following.
Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah.
We'll play Matthew or Moses. If you are there, if you are getting the gist, unmute yourself and say hi, or just type, I can hear you, or you type loud and clear. If you are following, type loud and clear. If you can hear us and you're following, type loud and clear.
You can do L and C.
Okay.
L and C. Please, guys, we just need to be sure that you're hearing, because if nobody is here, me and Ben can actually have we can talk together, and we have to be sure that you're here. It's freely. It's freely. It's freely.
Very key.
Okay, it seems they are not hearing us. It seems they are not hearing us. What of those in the Facebook and YouTube? Have you gotten any response of 111 from them?
I got 2 persons on YouTube.
Okay. What of Facebook?
The feedback has not come. Okay. I think I will place here.
It's taking a long time. Okay. Anyway, let's go on. So what I'm trying to say is this person was shocked. This lady was shocked. Why? Because the husband was just doing what he has observed. So you can see the sister has confirmed that this is what they've observed. Perhaps the father was beating the mother, and perhaps this is also what the mother could say. I mean, you can see that level of, what we can observe. So the emotional part, not training, the will part, not training. And this is the part, this is all the 3 parts that make the soul that become powerful enough to pull down the beautiful things in the spirit, because the spirit is beautiful. The spirit is from God. So why are we praying to God and every other continent is also praying to the same God, but our own expression of this God is very poor? Poor people everywhere. We don't have things we produce that we can own. We depend on every other person who is producing in foreign countries. And then we here, there is nothing, almost nothing that we produce. Is as a result of this. The soul has not been developed. The soul has not been developed. It is difficult for many people to believe this because they don't see it. It is a part of this whole issue that many people don't see. What they see is the government, the politics, and all of the noise going on. This is so small. It's so quiet and silent. But that's where the problem is. We have unrefined individuals who are going out there. That's why you see them fight everywhere, even in the house of assembly. You see them, make wrong decisions. How can they make right decisions? Because no training to make right decision. Now, I'm going to show you the dangerous part of this whole thing I'm saying. The dangerous part of this is that is a loop. Is a loop. So a mistake made is being passed on again to the next generation. They make the same mistake. They keep going on, and that's why it's not getting better. If you look at it critically, nothing is getting better. It's getting worse. A lot of people are saying, by the grace of God, it's going to get better. But look at it critically. Let's be honest with ourselves. What's the exchange rate? What is happening? No businesses that are doing well here. No businesses. All we have is miniature businesses. All this petty here and there. But the dinosaurs, the major people in the market, the major businesses are foreigners. What is happening? Nobody is saying anything. This is where the problem is. Until we go back to the world psychology, where we begin to train these ourselves, become the better person who can do the techniques. And guess what? Whenever we improve the psyche, when we become the better person in terms of world psychology, world techniques becomes a given. Because any Dick and Harry can do world technique. Just get it. No matter how dumb the person is. Bring the person, put the person through. That's what these guys are doing to us. But it's not a blame. I'm not blaming them. Because if you don't know, those who know will use you. Whenever we get anyone you can testify, if you have gotten any job in any multinational company, when they bring you, they train you.
because they understand anybody. So in fact, what they look out for, why they do interview is not because they just want to know who they can train. No, it's because the number is many who need the same thing. So they are looking for a way to see, just to remove many people and bring in few. Otherwise, they can take anybody. The person who never saw the four walls of the school, immediately they take the person. All they need to do is to show that person what to do. Do it repeatedly. The memory will record it, and the person begins to do it. That's all. And they understand this. So in technique, is not difficult at all. It's the practice. The best way is you do apprenticeship or internship. You just observe someone who knows what to do, stay with that person, give it 6 months, highest, where the thing is so difficult. 6 months, you know what to do. And this is what we have traded every other thing for. So everybody is focusing on well technique because we don't want to sit down and craft out something, think something, construct something, create something. So when we don't want to do that, we just want to go where something has been created. Just tell me what to do. Give me my job assignment. I mean, what do they call it? My
job description.
My job description. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Give me my job description. What am I to do? Can you imagine? Who created that thing that you want to do? Who designed that thing? Who put it in order that you can now do number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4? That person is the person who has deployed the mind, who has deployed the soul, who has improved to know I need this person, and is patient for this person to grow, to become this person. And just watch them. Watch them. It's a beautiful strategy going on every day. But unfortunately, our people are not seeing it. We are still subjected to where we want to only use the techniques. So that's the importance of well psychology. It puts you in a place of authority, in a place of control. You become the person who can actually do things from the origin, not waiting for anybody to do anything for you. Most of our youth today, look at them. Immediately will come out from university. Look at it. It's not a joke. We're waiting for government give us a job. And then waiting for who will give me a better job. Who will favor me? I was there too. I was there. Thinking that someone has to do something for me. But it's too much. We don't have to be doing that. It is a dependent mindset. It's a dependent mindset. So we have to improve it. Now, let me show you something. Now, this is the scariest part of this. First of all, there are 2 words. One is concept, one is precept, and one is concept. 2 words, precept and concept. What is precept? Precept is made up of 2 words again, pre and sept. Pre is before, sept is thoughts. Am I talking to people? I just want to feel.
Yes. You are. Yes,
all right. So you will post this, right?
It's streaming live in the 2 platforms, so for the watch.
Okay, let's responded. That was fast. Very good.
Okay.
That means someone is listening. I don't know if it's he or she. Okay, thank you, Okile. And now the point is, okay, thank you. I just want to feel that I don't want to be talking to my phone. I don't want to talk to my gadget here. I want to talk to human beings. I want to talk to human beings. That's my concern. Because if we get this, one of the challenges we have is human capital development. Oh, thank you. That feels good. Thank you, Okile. We are enjoying it. Thank you. That feels good. Okay, fine. Just for the one person who gave this response. Now, look at it. You have precept, you have concept. Precept is made up of 2 words, pre and sept. Pre means before, and sept means thoughts. So before thought. Now, when we are born, we have what is called before thought. That's precept. We don't have thoughts of our own. So every thought around us is the borrowed thought of our parents, thought of our brothers and sisters, relatives, uncles, aunties, neighbors, and teachers, everybody, pastors, everybody around us as we are growing. And this happens within the ages of 0 to 7 or 8 years. It's called the period of hypnosis. Now, at this period, you just collect thoughts of everybody around you. And then after which, you now form what is called the concept. Concept, 2 words again. Watch them. If you're writing, that would be amazing. You write down these things, it will help you. It is time we begin to take this personally. It is time we begin to do something about our situation personally. I have 3 children, and I bet you these children will never know poverty. Never. And it's not about not know poverty, you know, the way an ignorant person who happen to have cash, that's what I call them. You know, somebody who has so much money, but so ignorant. You know how they say, I don't want my children to suffer, they suffer, I suffer. And that's when they will not hire all the nannies everywhere, and then they mess up these children. You know, they destroy these children. They become irresponsible. They will never take up anything. They can't be themselves. Everybody is serving them. They become useless. That's not what I mean. This is a place of deliberateness, well-trained. So right now I'm homeschooling these 3 children. I'm homeschooling them, no jokes, nobody talks to them anyhow. I'm building their minds for royalty so that they become the powerhouse to bless every other life. And guess what? I'm not just doing this in empty hand. I am also trying to make sure that they have a backup financially. So there is a huge investment going on their behalf for which I have no control. I can never touch that investment. And the plan is that they will turn 10 and they will become at 10. They will be able to face a business challenge for 5 years, each of them. When they turn 10, they'll face a business challenge for 5 years. And that business challenge will allow them create companies, or at least a company, before they turn 15. And when they turn 15 and create a company, they can now access their investments so that they are not going to be nuisance. They're not going to be people who have so much money and they are ignorant. They don't know what to do. And they become, you know, wistful. They're now going everywhere, doing nightclubs. And no. See, there is a calculation. And that's how God is. God does not live by chance. God does not do things by chance. There's always a calculation. He's thorough, he's diligent, is detailed. God is always ahead of his activities. So when you have precept, after 8 years, it becomes concept. Con, 2 words, con and set. Con means form. Together, community. Con is from the root com, community. Con, that's it. Con, compound, the same root, together. So when he said together, when he said concept, that's formed thought. Together, thought that have been put together is now formed. That's when the adults emerge. From there, from teenager, then go into adulthood. They have concept. At that time, concept is like the concrete, like lintel. That's the explanation I give about concept. It's like the lintel. You can't just when the lintel is done, you can't amend it. You cannot. You do 2 things. When a lintel is done, is done. If there's an error, maybe the rod bent, you can't amend it because it's strong, it's formed. The only way you can do something on the lintel again is either you pull it entirely down or you leave it as it is. So the only way you can change concept is either you remove the entire concept or you leave it as it is, because every adult do not want anyone to dictate his life. That is why whatever we say about the government will never change, because we cannot change them. They have concept. And that's when whatever we say, don't we say it? No matter how we talk about it, people go passionately. I saw the other one, that they went to ASU and the guy walked out on them. These things, they can't stop. It's already concept. I think somebody sent something, right? You will have to share with us maybe one day on that business backup on trash for your children. Very important, sir. Oh, good, good, good. I can see that's Akile listening. God bless you. Fantastic. Yeah, no problem. No problem. So now, what am I saying? On that concept part, you can't do anything. So, and this is when I found out this, I say, oh my God, is this why no matter what we have been saying, everybody will go in there, talk till tomorrow, nothing changes? Because every adult has concept. You can only do something based on your own volition. It is only when you, that's why some people, to the point that they will even die rather than do what someone else say they should do. Is that bad? So what do we do now? Look at, that's the danger now is, this is a process you and I have passed through. So when we were at the level of precept, what was happening to us? A lot of people, that's when they learned poverty, the huge poverty. There is no enough. Things are not sufficient. The government is not doing well. Life is difficult. Money is hard to make. All of the things, keep saying it. The child was gobbing, taking everything, because that level, there is no control. They take everything. Life is hard. Things are difficult. You have to struggle. You have to work hard. That's why everybody's hustling. And that's why people have made hustle like a normal thing. Even take it to the church. They've is it religion? Let me not bite my tongue. They've made hustle a holy thing. That's God bless my hustle. The question I ask, when God created you, that is asking God to bless your hustle, did he create hustle for you? No. People don't see this. Hustle was as a result of sin, man's disobedience to God. That's where hustle came in. That's where hardship came in. That's where difficulty came in. It wasn't the original intent of God. And God has done that, has restored that thing again. That's why for those who are Christians, that's why Jesus came and died for you and I. You see, he came and died for you and I. He came to restore that thing. He said, you see, no more curse on you. If you follow me, there is no more curse on you. That means there is no more toiling, laboring, hustling. Why are we still hustling? Because we are still sinning. We're not obeying the voice of God, which demands us to study. The Bible says, if you go back to the book of Romans, it says, is it Romans 12:2? He said, do not conform to this world. That's Paul. Paul was a great psychologist. People don't know. Many people don't know. He said, do not conform to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. That word mind, go and study it. It means soul. If you go and study that word, anybody who dares this night or after this call and decide to study that word, you see that it's not mind. It's not about just the thinking mind. That word mind, if you go and check the root word and check the Greek meaning, you see that it has these three components I just explained here. It has the cognitive, it has the emotion, and it has the will. Paul was telling us, he said, you have to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It's not really a religious statement, but it's just that people have made it so spiritual that they can't practice it again. You see, we have made it so people, when they said, do not conform to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Somebody say, hallelujah, yeah, Father, Lord, in the name of Jesus, my mind, renew. Excuse me? No. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, no. Paul was being explicit. He was actually telling us to Do the needful, because if you go back to Proverbs 25 verse 2, the Bible, if you can note these things, that would be good for you. Proverbs 25 verse 2, it says, it is the glory of God to conceal a matter, and it is the honor of kings to search out this which God has concealed. Kings search. What does search mean? Study. Is a royal behavior. How many of us have a study room, a study chamber in their home? Nah, you can't find. But I can bet everybody listening to me here that I will find a DSTV and a very big screen in your homes, watching Nollywood, African magic. Yes. But how many can we find a study room, a chamber where I could get up to 100 books, even 20 books? 100 is too much. We don't study. So Paul was saying, renew your mind. Renew your mind, not a spiritual statement. He renewed his mind. He started studying. He started studying to figure out what is actually God, what was God trying to do, and why did he send Christ? He studied, and when he stood before the kings, he spoke in authority. Paul did not say, oh, you know, my God will fight you people. You put change me, Abby. You put change me. Just watch. My God will come from heaven to strike you people. That wasn't what Paul was saying. If you read Acts 26, you will see Paul's well-articulated statement showing the prowess of his soul, well-developed. Saul was sound. And he was not moved. His emotions was intact. He was not in tears, crying. He was rather telling them that everything about this thing is for their own good, that the reason why he's on this chain is for their good. That's a level of emotional training. But we don't see these things when it comes to the church. That's not the way we see them. Anyway, if any of you that stays anyhow around me or anything I do, you will know that so many things we have got wrong. And this is the things holding us back. So if you're a pastor, I will challenge you. I will challenge you. And it's okay. It should be okay for you. Challenge is anything that brings out the best in you. So it shouldn't be a bad thing. But I will challenge you. So when people have preconcept, they can change. What do they do? What do they need? They need what Jesus said. Well, Jesus has become a timeless. He's the master teacher. So whatever he says, even those who are not Christians, they reckon what he says. So how much more? Me. That's my source. What did he say? He said in Matthew chapter 18, from verse 1, the disciples asked him, who is the greatest in the kingdom of God? That's what they asked him. You might be putting these quotations on the chat and on the places so that people can see them and copy them in case they forget. Ben, did you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Thank you. So in Matthew 18:1, the disciples came to Jesus and asked him, who is the greatest? Because they were having some struggle with the greatest. They now decided to summon courage to ask him. And then Jesus, the Bible said Jesus took a child, brought it before them. Now pay attention. He brought who? A child. He brought a child. He brought a child and put before who? Before who? The adults. I wish I could hear all of you. Oh my goodness. Anyway, all this Zoom thing. And Facebook thing. Okay. Well, Zoom is actually better. It shouldn't be faceless because Zoom created an opportunity for us to see faces. But everybody will mute, I can't see faces. All right. So, but what I'm saying is Jesus brought a child who has what? Precept. Before adults who were the disciples who had what? Concept. Because Jesus already knows that these guys have concept. It can't change. It can't change. The only way is to pull it down and give them a new one. So when he brought the child, he's now told them, unless you become like this child, you will in no way enter. They asked him who is the greatest, but he answered them, you can't enter. That's, you can't even access, not to talk of do primaries, not to talk of to now do the you can't contest, you can't even enter. You're not qualified to enter unless you turn to become like this child. In my life class, I ask people, what does this mean? I ask pastors, nobody give me explanation that is practical. Is there anyone that want to try? Those with me in Zoom here. You are Christians. You love Jesus with all your heart. Anyone who wants to try, what does this mean? He says, until you become like a child, until you become like a child, someone can try. Perhaps God, you get it or something. I don't know who is here. I will not underrate you. Is there anybody here who can try? Just give me an explanation of what that means. Jesus said, unless you become like a child, you will in no means enter the kingdom. Moses, okay. Nobody should leave, and there is no failure. Okile, can you try? Somebody should unmute your microphone and try and answer. What do you think? Hello?
I need to ask him to unmute.
Okay, go ahead.
Or probably make him a co-host. Okay, you are a co-host if you want to. And Moses, you are a co-host as well. You can unmute yourself and respond.
Go ahead. Okay, do you have an answer? Just talk to me. If you don't have, no problem. Just this is also, I'm not a foreigner. I'm here with you guys. I know the root, everything. I just turned 40 2 days ago. So I'm not here for any jokes. If you mean something, if you think this is something you need, then that's fine. But if it's not, well,
good evening.
Go back to my shell. So,
good evening. Are you with me?
Oh, great. Okay, great. I'm with you.
Yeah. Well done. Thank you, sir, and thank you for giving me the privilege. I was a bit distracted during the opportunity given. So, but then the point we are, I think, or when we quoted the Holy Scripture, that was where I lost. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Are you saying you didn't get my question now, right?
The Holy Scripture, Matthew 18:1. That was just where I was a bit disconnected.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I said, do you understand what it means when Jesus said, until you become like a child, you will know you by no means enter the kingdom? So I'm asking, you are a Christian, right?
Of course I am.
Okay, great. So what do you understand, or what have you heard as an explanation to that statement that Jesus made? That until you become like a child, you will by no means enter the kingdom.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think, in my understanding, Jesus was referring to our faith. Is referring to our behavioral objective, because children are plain in heart, are pure, innocent, they know nothing. So Christ was asking us to be like them, have a children-like life, be plain, and then be sin-free. That is my short understanding.
Okay, so stay with me. So yes, what you said now is good, is beautiful. What you said now,
But look at what I'm trying to say. In my interpretation, the question I ask now, how do you practice what you just said? You said be pure like be like a child. Number one, you said we can be like them. Number one, you're an adult. A practical way is that how can you be like a child? A child does not think any challenge. A child does not think any problem, because a child is not responsible of doing anything. There's no responsibility to a child. A child is dependent, right? But you are not dependent. You are rather a person who could be providing responsibility. You could be a father, you could be a brother, you could be somebody. You have responsibilities that you are shouldering. So how can you become like a child when you have to go out and work and make money? And then you are thinking about these things. Someone is owing you. You're thinking about someone that is owing you. Everything is going on. How can you become a child practically? That's what I'm asking.
Okay. Wow.
I love the expression there. I love the expression there. And this is a place where I say I challenge people. I challenge people because not because I want to tell you don't know anything. No, I want us that first of all, the only right I have to challenge anybody is because I challenge myself first. Because I go to a point where I say, what? I was the same. I never knew that. How do I practice this? We hear these things in the church, but how do I put it into practice? Now, let me not waste time. That place, the word become like a child. I had to study what a child means. So when I took out that word, I did intensive study to a child. And when I finished all my studies, I found out a child. What does a child simply mean? A child simply means someone who is teachable.
Oh, great.
Because if you're a father, for instance, and you have children, you know that every child is just subject to any adult around that child. A child learns without stopping, without hindrance, whatever you do.
Exactly.
So that's what Jesus was telling them. Remember, the Pharisees, they were becoming, objective. They were rejecting what Jesus was teaching. They were challenging what Jesus was teaching. So Jesus looked at them and said, look, all of you have concept. You don't have precept. You can't understand what I'm saying because you already have a concept, formed thought. You already have a formed thought, how you judge things. So as I'm saying these things now, you're judging me. You are not listening with an open heart, but you're listening with bias. So he said, until you become like a child who does not listen with bias. You see, that's the only way you can change the concept. Becoming like a child means you begin to learn and study again. That one I gave you in Proverbs 25 verse 2. You become the person who is now studying to understand what does that do to you. You begin to acquire new precept. That's why David said the precept of the Lord I seek is the Lord's precept, the new precept. You begin to acquire new precept again that will give you a new concept. I don't know if that made sense. Do you get? Now, this is where, yes, this is where I take people. In wealth psychology, it is a place where you have to debunk the concept you've been given through your precepts. At the level of precept, that's before thought. You never knew anything. Now you were born by poor parents. When I say poor parents, it's not about making cash. It's not about cash. Because I meet people in my sessions and they said, oh, well, I wasn't born by poor parents. I said, were you born by rich parents? He said, no, they were average. I said, that's the worst part of poverty, average. Because average means you cover so many things and pretend that you are okay. That's average. And then nobody will help you. I was there. Why not declare it? Why not be certain? Why not create it? Be either poor or rich. You're wealthy or you're poor. Period. So when you were born and you were born around poverty, poor parents, everything around you poor, poor relatives, poor teachers, everybody saying stubborn head. This is poverty. Any wealthy mind can never say a child is a stubborn child. Any wealthy mind can never say a child is a stubborn child, because a child born has no evil. There's nothing wrong with any child born. It is us who start telling them what we have learned. We start bringing the word stubborn to them. They don't know the meaning of word stubborn, but we introduce it to them. And when we repeat it over time, it becomes a coding. Their mind, their brain will code it and understand, oh, stubbornness means don't do what the person say you should do. And they begin to act likewise. But initially they weren't, but we now condition them to become that which we say. What if you keep telling your child you're a wonderful child? From birth, you keep saying that your child is a wonderful child. And guess what? The same thing. It will call the child and he begins to behave wonderfully well in every aspect of his life. This is an experience. It's not a theory. I have experienced this and I'm still experiencing it. So it is something that we really need to know. It is in wealth psychology, not in the wealth techniques. How well have you built your mind for the life you are craving for the government to create for you? Or are you just there seated, pointing fingers? The government is doing this, they are looting this, they are looting that, they are doing that. It has never changed anything. I am not saying that they are not doing the wrong things. I'm not saying that. I'm not supporting what they are doing either. But what shall we do practically to help ourselves? That's where I am. We shall not continue pointing fingers and not do anything, and nothing changes from generation to generation. And the worst part, our children will learn the same thing. Who did this thing? They will point someone else. Why did you fail in your class? They will say it's because they will give a excuse. Are you not saying it? Nowadays, children have more reasons why they do wrong things. And they become a little confident, even in answering you, even when they did the wrong thing. Why? They've seen the society everywhere in the media. People are giving excuses why they should stay in wrong. People are giving excuses why they should be in poverty. And tomorrow you wonder why your children will not be poor. It's a place of personal development. So you have to personally work on this. Nothing will change until you change. Nothing will change until you change. Never strive to change anybody, but change yourself. Don't change any situation, change yourself, and every situation will align to who you have become. And this is exactly what I did personally. And that's the power. That's the only way Ben met me. That's the only way I could be here speaking. And I challenge everybody hearing me and those who may hear me later that until we as a people tap into this power of our own self, going back to wealth psychology, nothing changes. Wealth, when you hear wealth is a very big concept, but it is from God. So wealth is divine. Wealth is more than cash. Wealth is more than money. Wealth is bigger than all of this. Every good thing and virtue is inside wealth. And so when I say wealth psychology is when you are working on the study of your soul in alignment with everything good. That means if you come back to when God says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, the meaning of his righteousness, because people also fail. Many of us fail in explanation of this. The meaning of his righteousness means with good standing. It means you are doing it with the intention to make other people better. That's in righteousness. That means you have a good intention of whatever you are doing. So wealth psychology is where you are seeking the good of everybody, including yourself, in the activities you do, in your business, in your family, in your everyday life. That you have that good intention. And the only way you could have that good intention is that you have reason. So I'm going to get to this point, then I pause. I pause for any question. Until you rise to the point where you have loved yourself sufficiently, you will never help anybody nor love anybody. I'm sorry. I may have disappointed you, but that's the truth. A lot of people, I see people in church claiming to love, claiming to do whatever, and they are in poverty. Truly, you know, you are hungry. You can't buy the things you desire. You can't use the things you desire. And you've gotten to the point where you are frustrated, and then you are now making accusations. When you see like exotic cars, you see people in affluence, you are now saying all these vanities. You know how poor people will now accuse other people, say all these vanities upon vanity upon vanity, vanity. Excuse me? It's because you don't understand the meaning of vanity. What does vanity mean? What does vanity mean? If I ask this question, I bet you nobody will answer this. What does vanity mean? People will be telling me things that are not this. They just be saying so many things. Vanity, when people are buying all these big things that are not important, they say, what is that's not vanity. It's an English word. Vanity from the root word, vanish. Anything that will vanish is vanity. Anything that you're not going to go back to heaven, you never came with, and you will never go back with, is vanity. So, your keke napep, if you are riding keke napep, is vanity. My Rolls Royce is vanity. Your Okrika is vanity. My Versace is vanity. All of us are using vanities. But choose your vanity. Which vanity do you want? You see? You see? Yeah. Which vanity do you want? You see that? Out of ignorance, you are accusing someone else. Get off this thing. We really need to come off this thing. If you want to help people, you have to help yourself first. So when Jesus, let me close this. When Jesus said, when they came to him and asked him, Rabbi, what is the greatest commandment? That was what they asked him. What is the greatest commandment? He told them, it is love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. They said, He said, then the second one is like the first. Love your neighbor as yourself. Period. But still, people don't understand it. Many Christians don't understand it. Many people in the church don't understand it. Love your neighbor as yourself. Why did Jesus put that clause, as yourself? That means the extent at which you will love anybody is dependent on the extent at which you have loved yourself. And what I see a lot of people who have denied themselves self-love. They don't have time. They don't take care of themselves. They don't think about themselves. Everything is there. They're like mad people running out early morning, coming back late. They're in the traffic. Their eyes have swollen. Everything. They're hungry. They're sweating. They're angry everywhere. Jesus. There was a day I went to the mainland. I went to a certain place. Is it Festac? Yeah, Festac. Around Festac. And I entered the traffic. Oh my goodness. I wound down my car. I wound down to experience what is happening. If you see the heat, smoke everywhere. All the trucks are out. The smoke everywhere. People are crossing road. The question I ask myself, why would these people not be angry? Look at the environment. It's crazy. So somebody is coming from that thing, that heat every day, and then when the person gets home, there is no light. He doesn't have money to buy fuel. You forgot to record this on time. You know, there was no record now. Why did you stop it? Continue, start the recording.
There's no problem. We have it streamed live on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So so when you see somebody who goes through that process and gets home, there is no light. He doesn't have money to buy fuel. He doesn't have a good gen. Every gen, do you know that people where they're living, when they start gen, that is like, oh my goodness, it's another terror. Noise everywhere. You can't sleep. Now, that kind of person, how can this person love someone else? This person who is still struggling with himself. Yeah? He's now loves someone else. That's why you see people crossing the road and cars are advancing to hit them, and then they'll be doing waka to the car. And they are the ones who stepped into the road, and now they're doing waka to the car that is advancing, that almost hit them, and the car is now dodging not to hit them, and they will still do waka to the car. You see the level of frustration. People have lost self-dignity. They don't even value themselves. They can stand on the road. They can stay on the road. They'll be dragging their feet. Anything can happen to them. And you expect that person to love you. That's why I asked the leaders we have, how many of them have been loved? How many of them, if you go back to when they were born, do you think they really got the love? Because an orange tree can never bear apple. If they've been given love, they can't do but love. So when somebody is answering you and there is people are dying somewhere and they are calling and they are not answering you, it means that they don't have the love. Nobody gave them. They were never trained to love. So instead of blaming them, you can even be empathetic. You can empathize. You can see that these people are having challenges. And that's why we need you. That's why you can be the person who can understand this thing and begin to do the right thing to help your next child, the next children, the next generation, the children to be loved. If you any day you raise your hand and be beating your children, and then you tell them not to make a noise, if you make pim, I will beat hell out of you. And the child closes his mouth even when he's under pains of what you have beaten him, you are a terrorist. You are worse than Shekau. That's what I can tell you. You're worse than Boko Haram and ISIS. You are a terrorist because that's to the brain of that child. In child psychology, that child, you have subdued that child beyond control, and which is not good. And what you're training that child to become is to become a rebel, to become someone who is also going to abuse every other person. Because when you abuse, the abuser will abuse. I mean, the abused will abuse. It's a law. Anyone that is abused is bound to abuse unless the person was trapped and given the therapy, sufficient therapy. You see, this is the problem. So people have been bastardized. People have been messed up from their childhood. They've got wrong precept. And now at the level of concept, they're displaying the precept of God, and someone is blaming them and someone is judging them. It's not the right thing. What we should do is you go back. If you can understand what I'm saying, then do something. If you have a child, if you have a family, hey, hold on to them. They are your next exit to wealth. Use them. The brain is tabula rasa. They are empty brain. It is what you feed them that they will take. But before you do that, you have to become transformed, as Paul was saying. Your mind has to be renewed. You have to transform through renewing your mind. So this might be like an inspiration. This might be to inspire you. But the journey to renew your mind, you have to commit to it. So you have to reach out to those who have the ability to help you to renew your mind. It's important, and we have to do this. That's what I did. I had to renew my mind. I was not in denial. I was not, because I've been in the church for over 3 decades. That's 30 years. I've been playing in the church, but I never knew that I didn't know this. When I realized this, I didn't deny it. I accepted everything and I started anew. You can do the same. You can do the same. You can do the same. If you want to, anybody who comes close to me will see that what I'm saying is the same thing I'm living. That's the life I have. Anybody, those who have come close to me, they've seen it. And I have nothing to change. This is what it is. Until we do this, we're going nowhere as a people. And that is what we need to do. So love your neighbor as yourself. Before you can love your neighbor, go back and love yourself first. Learn the steps to love yourself and make sure you are fulfilled in yourself. And then you will have the capacity to be able to identify. So there are 3 levels of doing that. First of all, you acknowledge that you exist. That's number 1. So you exist is very important. Until you identify that you are part of the equation of this whole universe, nothing changes. That's number 1. Number 2, you have to now recognize that other people exist. So as you exist, so also other people exist. And whoever you consider you are, the quality and the substance you are made of, so also is every other human being out there. What does that mean? It means that you can now respect every other person and love them. And the third one is you recognize that there is an environment that supports this existence. So that environment, you can now, as you create that environment that supports your own existence, who you are, so also you support every other person to create such environment to support them to become who they are. I believe if we do this, we are going to transform our nation one step at a time. And this is what we need against where we're all hustling to make money, money, money. If you're asking, okay, what about money? How do I survive? I will show you. But that's not what we will talk about today. Today is our wealth psychology, right? But how to make money, how to stay sane, how to get all these things, live the life you desire. I mean, you can get it. And that's the way I'm living. That's the way I'm living. And God has been, I mean, wonderful. So I want to stop there, Ben. I can go on and on, but then let me leave it here. I don't know what else you have for me, or I mean the time.
honestly, I am just angry in my spirit. Matthew, I'm going to give you space to answer your question, to ask your question. Man, I'm just angry in my spirit. Imagine the level of knowledge that is going out. Even my immediate team members who supposed to enjoy this, who supposed to be directly on the Zoom call, they are not enjoying this. It pains me deeply. As you are teaching, it reminds me of when Jesus was teaching. And the Pharisees, the Judases, the Hebrews, the custodians of law, they look at him. They say, this young man, when did they born you? Where did you get this kind of wisdom? That is a kind of knowledge you are dishing out freely today. People pay huge, in fact, to get this kind of knowledge. But many of us have opportunity of getting it freely, the kind of society we have.
Yeah, I think Okile is raising his hand. Would you want him to say something? I think he wants to go.
Probably it's like it's off now.
Oh, he has left. Okay.
Just a moment. Sorry for that, dear. Honestly, the level of knowledge you have just dished out, that is why in every society, it will still be few persons who will get that level of knowledge. Many times when you see the World Wealth Index list, how do you call it, Forbes list of the richest in the world, you always see that America alone will constitute 40 to 50% of the people on the list. What always happens? America is a country that loves knowledge more than any other country put together on it. America have the largest number of university dropout people in the world, but they have the largest number of richest people on earth. Why? Because they open their heart to learn. If you hear of people who read a book a week, a book every week, you have 50% of them in America. Why would they not become more multi-millionaires? Thank you so much. I know you have in you more than you can share. We will not be able to thank you enough. But I believe the few persons who have taken their time and they are following this program, they have been blessed. And those who will listen to it again on the different platform. After now, we're going to share the live platform on the Zoom, on the YouTube, to everybody on our contact list, and they will see get to hear it. And then the Facebook one will be posted automatically by Facebook. So I want to thank you very much for freely giving out this level of knowledge. So to drive it home, how can we now, in simple terms, operate at this level of independent, where we accumulate wealth out of hustle? How can we attain that level of become the best of the best, influential, wealthy, sufficient, and we are achieving it at a higher frequency, not at the level of struggle? There is always a saying, there is no one road to the market. What are those strategies? What can we do differently from the hustle and bustling in our city? If you go to somewhere in Ikeja, very close to Computer Village by Ikeja, a local government, if you see human being walking down there in the middle of a hot sun or in the middle of the hot rain, sometimes it looks like we are all crazy men and women. What can the young people who are listening to you, what can they do differently in simple terms? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, this one again, you teach, without any disrespect, you teach the ignorant, you advise the wise. So if you notice, yes, that's what it is. So whatever I don't know, I'm ignorant. Ignorant means what you are short of. So another meaning of ignorant is what you have ignored. This is actually more of the roots of meaning of ignorance, what you have seen or heard, but you ignore it. So, and if I have done that in any time, which we do all the time, one way or the other, it's just that some persons have now done it so much that there are now so many things they have ignored, which is affecting their lives. So, but apart from that, no matter how informed you are, there are always things you've ignored in one way or the other. I said, no matter how small it is. So, and if anytime I find myself to that point, I consider myself an ignorant. And what I do is I submit for teaching. In fact, if you come to advise me on that, I will say no. So I don't want advice on that. Rather, I want a teaching. I will choose to have a teaching. Sit down and you will elucidate what that thing is. But unfortunately, many people seek advice rather than teaching. So when you want to teach, they say they don't have time. They don't have time. And I ask a question. When someone says you don't have time, the question I ask the person, that means you have a lot of money. The person will look at me like, no, I don't have money either. You don't have time, you don't have money. That's suicide. It's destructive. Because either you have time and you don't have money, or you don't have time and you have so much money. Someone like Dangote does not have time. Someone like Dangote does not have time, but he has so much money. And that's why he uses the money to buy time. So he buys people who can, give him time. And when I ask people, how much time does Dangote have in a day? People will say 24 hours. I say it's a lie. He doesn't have 24 hours. He has so much. He has more than. You count the number of people working for him. That's the number. All of them have 24 hours. Multiply 24 hours by that number. If he has 5,000 people working for him, 5,000 times 24 hours, that's the number of hours that Dangote has in a day. Because all of these people are working to generate the same thing that he would have done alone, and he will never achieve. So It's really a challenge. Poverty is a problem. If you're hearing me, poverty is so much, it's more than COVID-19. It's a serious pandemic. And when it comes, it destroys every aspect. You don't have time to study, to learn. You don't have money to buy anything, to pay for trainings. You don't have money to live the life you desire. You don't have time to go and make the money. What do you want? That's death. And this is where I find a lot of people. So what you asked me requires a teaching. It's not a motivation. Yes, it requires a teaching. But what I can say, like the watchword is to learn, is to learn. That's the watchword, is to learn. If we want to come out of this thing, that means we have to subject ourselves to learning. We have to learn. That's why I quoted this Proverbs 25 verse 2. It is the glory of the king, a king, to search what God has concealed. It is the glory of God to hide things. So those precious things that we are looking, that the question you ask me now, those precious life, those beautiful things that we are looking for, is hidden, is not on the surface. And for us to find them, we have to search, which is study. The only way I can talk this way, which is the life I live every day, which is what I do every day with my businesses, with my workers, with my children, with my wife. This thing I'm saying did not just happen by the falling of the Holy Spirit. It's not by the anointing of the Holy Spirit. And that's where people get it wrong. When they see pastors, that's why I don't want to be associated with being a pastor or anything. I'm not a pastor. I use the scriptures very well, but I'm not a pastor. Because when people see pastors, when they quote the Bible and turn the Bible and use the scriptures, they say, "Woo, it's because he's a pastor." No. And then when they say it's because he's a pastor, they now say the anointing is upon him. The Holy Ghost has descended upon him. That's why he's doing all of these things. Excuse me. And can the anointing be upon you? It can. So why have you removed yourself? That pastor, go back and check the house of that pastor. You will find shelves full of books. You will find a study chamber. I don't know any of you here who is living a luxury life. If you ever go to any 5-star hotel or even 4-star hotel, if you ever go to any of these hotels and try to lodge in a royal suite or presidential suite, you will see that they have what is called a study chamber. They also create it even in the hotel level. You see? But go to the standard rooms. Go to the other rooms, the standard rooms where poor people come. They don't have any study, nowhere to study. It's for them to come and squander money and go back and hustle again. But the rich, the wealthy, when they come in, they have a place to think. They have a place to rejuvenate their energy. They have a place to realign their personality with the divinity so that they can become more, to create more, and then go and hire a lot of poor people around and hire them to come and execute what they have created when they were in their chamber studying. That's royalty. So you have to study. If you come to Proverbs chapter 1 verse 5, it says it is, how did they put it? Let me read it. Let me read it out exactly how it is written. So you know that the watchword, as I said, is learning, is very key. Look at Proverbs chapter 1 verse 5. It said, a wise man will hear, just as you're hearing me, and increase learning. A wise man will hear. So after what I'm saying now, a wise man will go back and study to ascertain this thing this man has said. A wise man does not take it just for granted. He goes back to study those things, to perfect those things, make them his own, so that, now I understand this. That's a wise man will hear and increase learning. He says, a man of understanding will attend wise counsel. Why are you with those people who are talking about the problems of this country? Why are you hanging out with the people who are talking about how the pastor is not talking about this one, this pastor is quarreling, this person is quarreling with this person, this politician is quarreling with this person? Why are you hanging out with these people who are not going anywhere? Why are you not in a council, wise council of people who are thinking, how to improve themselves, how to become better? So the watchword is learning, and the second watchword is association. So if you want to actually change your position where you are, you have to make learning and study your fundamental. You have to begin to study. And what does that mean? You have to begin to come to trainings like this. You have to begin to come to programs like this. You have to begin to attend specific programs like this. Then the second thing that you have to actually look around you again, if you have anybody who is not speaking this language, where you can become more and do more, then you have to realign. You have to readjust. Find people who will help you become better. God bless you.
One of my mentors will always say, a man will remain the way he is today in the next 5 years, except for two things, the books he reads and the friends he keeps. Show me a friend, I will show you who you become in the near future. Thank you very much, sir. Because of the movement of time and activity, I think I will let you, because I believe you will have one or two things to prepare for tomorrow. For our people who are still with us on the YouTube and on the Facebook, what is your final take, sir?
Okay. Well, the faceless, I can't see anybody. Can't see you there, but I don't know your reactions. I don't know what you're saying. But if you have heard me and you actually heard what I said, if it makes sense to you, please seek for more. I will say nothing again, but learn. That's thing they said. If you want to hide anything from an African man, put it in a book. We really need to debunk it. It's true. That thing they said is true. If you want to hide anything from an African man, put it in a book. It's true. And that's why, like, for those who are parents here, or if you're a parent listening to me or may come to listen to this, the parenting styles that some people are beginning to learn now, the Western world and developed countries have already known these things like centuries ago. And this is what our people right now still don't know. As in, our people don't know that what you say every day from a baby, from the womb, that's halfway in pregnancy, your baby begins to learn your habits and your words. Halfway in right in pregnancy. Our parents, many people don't know. As in, when my wife is sharing, because my wife is an early childhood educator, when my wife is sharing this, people are saying, really? People are shouting like, really? They don't know. They've taken my light. Sorry, that's it. They don't know. So people don't know that this is the situation. So people still say things anyhow, be using wrong words, that when the child turns 3 or turns 2 and begins to speak and now make those words, they are shocked. Like, where did you get this word? They never knew. They're the ones saying it. You see the level of unawareness. So people have known these things. Let's begin to learn. It is high time we started learning. And fasting, we need to really learn fast. We really need to learn fast if we want to actually become, successful, as my brother said or asked me, if we want to really thrive and become better in the community, in the society, and rid of this economy thing, bad economy thing, then we have to learn. Finally, what I will say, note this. This is very important. How do you know a people that worship God? I wish I have you to answer these questions. How do you know a people that know God? It is not by the shouting. It is not by the number of churches. One of the major ways to know a people that know God is by their economy. This will shock you. I'm sure you've not thought of this. You there listening to me, I'm sure you've not thought of this. The economy. And if you go back to the scriptures, Think of it, check it, go and study. You see that anytime the Israelites are in good terms with God, worshiping their living God, the economy is always booming. But anytime they stray and sin against God, they suffer in their economy. As we are suffering as a people in our economy in this country is a very significant sign that we are not really serving God. Don't be deceived by the number of churches everywhere and the number of hallelujahs shouting everywhere and the loudest hallelujah. That's not the sign that people are serving God. So I think we really need to rethink and do something different to actually get a different result. But where it begins is to learn. God bless you.
Oh my God. Thank you very much. That is the word I will use.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you. And on behalf of the Success Bread team, we say we deeply appreciate you for what you did today. You just say something. You say association. Oh God. There's no time to say anything further. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The friend you know or the person you know will determine where you find yourself tomorrow. While you are learning, begin to associate with like minds. It will go a long way. Thank you so much. We can't thank you enough. And thank you to all our sponsors, Pazu, Health and Beauty. I thank you to Agbenda Media. I thank you to Making the Eagle. I thank you to Folium Limited. And thank you to Biophi Technology. I thank you to Femimat Limited. And thank you to Rodin Health Limited. All these organizations located proudly in the city of Lagos. If you go to our website, Bezima Consulting, you have the link that take you to their business profile, and there you go to their website and you can have a dealing with all of them. We're proud of all of them. And thank you so much, my dear friend. Give a sincere and a warm regard to your family. Thank them for allowing you to share this moment with us. If nothing at all, just know that I am highly inspired and I have my notes carefully written for what you are saying. Definitely for further digestion. Yeah, definitely. So when I come here, I don't come for people to come and learn. I myself, I also am a student. So I learn very well. And that is what has helped me to be able to skyrocket in what we do. And the word, as the Christian Bible says, it said, the eyes have not seen, the ears have not heard, neither has he entered the heart of man what God has prepared for those who love him and are called according to his name. Time will tell. Thank you so much for being there. A nice evening and a lovely weekend.
Okay. Thank you too. Thank you. Please note this guy. I don't know who is a guy or okay, I think he's a guy, Okile. Just note Okile. Yeah. He made some statements there. So
yes, Okile make a very profound statement here. He said, okay, he said, I would love to listen to the very end of this program because I am not just enjoying it, but I'm learning a whole lot. For the life of a fashion designer, I can't disappoint my customers. I hope to hear from you again. Benson, please do well to invite him again. Thanks. And he left. Wow, that is Oklemati all the way from the city of Abuja. He's a fashion designer doing a great job there. And I believe knowledge like this help people like that to skyrocket.
Yes, yes, we need them. We need them.
So definitely you hold our people a coming back very, very soon.
No problem.
Thank you. People are really hungry for you here.
Thank you so much, Ben. God bless you for all you do and continue to strengthen you. We will all this will count. It's just a matter of time. Yeah, it will count. So
Amen.
right on. Your consistency is very contagious. So, I mean, you have to know that people are watching, and you're doing very, very, very well. Super fantastic. God bless you. God bless you. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
My regards.
Go here.